Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. Now, if you guys didn't watch it, I implore you guys to go check it out. But last time I was here, I went ahead and went over Vegeta and the various ways that the character progressed throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball Super and all of the different arcs and things of that nature. So I implore you guys to check that out. That link will be down below in the description. But for this one, and this is why I wanted you to check out that one, we're going to be following that exact same trend in accordance with the Beerus character in Dragon Ball Super. But if you noticed, I said we, because I'm not alone. I'm joined by my boy, MJ. How are you doing, man?
I am doing good. It's been a minute since I've been on the channel, but thank you for having me. How are you, man?
No problem, man. It's definitely been a while. I'll say that. But we got to get into doing more work. I'm pretty good myself. It's pretty late right now. I'm pretty tired. But no, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Beerus here today. Guys, at the end of the video, make sure you do check out MJ's channel. Link will be down below in the description. So, MJ, I'm going to pose a question to you. I'm going to put you right on the spot, boy. You ready?
I'm ready, bro. You're making my nuts tingle, man. Let's do this.
So, Beerus. When it comes to Beerus, he comes into the series as this kind of antagonist-esque character. Some would even venture to say he was a villain until he wasn't one anymore. When it comes to him, to me, I thought that he was very polarizing. You know, it's like our introduction into more formal god, deity type characters in the series. I mean, we had been accustomed to, you know, Kami and things like that, but like actual deities, right, that are higher up in the food chain when it comes to Beerus. So I want to kind of just take this moment to ask you the question, what were your first impressions of Beerus whenever he first came into the series, just in general, and how the character was introduced, portrayed, and things from that? Like, I want to go from there afterwards. We're going to kind of pivot from first impressions to last impressions on the character in Super, the Tournament of Power arc.
Savage. That's kind of the one word I would have for him. I know in the movie he was pretty savage, you know, what he did in the movie, but in the arc, I always thought he was just as savage, if not more. Some of the stuff that he did with Boo, constantly beating down Boo instead of like one-shotting him, he chose to like torture the guy.
Oh, you're talking about how he played baseball with Boo and Gohan?
Bro, this dude did, bro, Beerus, like in the beginning, just of all of, you know, Super was just like an overall savage. Or even that one moment before the Universe 6 tournament where like Bulma asks him a question about the Dragon Balls or something and he goes, I don't know, maybe I'll destroy the entire Earth. She's like, what? like he just came off as such like a savage and he was not afraid to put people in their places. And obviously the character's grown since then. But yeah, in the beginning I felt like he just came in, he was a polarizing character. He was an antagonist, but he was not afraid to get into your face. So like savage would probably be the right word for me.
Yeah, and I agree with that sentiment because he was portrayed in a way that kind of made him look like a dick, you know?
Yeah, like a prick, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, like kind of just like that. And of course he had his lighter moments where it came to like food and things like that. You can see some of the comedic aspect for the character, him and Whis in particular as well. But you know, for me, I'd say that, yes, while I thought he was savage, I'd also say that towards the end, he was a bit of a softie because Goku grew on him. He was like, you know what? Just imagine how many other strong beings there are out there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and it came to stuff like that, and he was like, I won't destroy your Earth and things like that. That's a little bit more of the Goku effect that kind of changed Beerus, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Aside from that, just a little bit before that, I would say, again, while I agree with the savage nature of Beerus, I would say that, to me, he seemed more mysterious because I don't know if that's just part of the allure of having a new character that you want to know more about, but just to me, it was like, we need more of this guy. Like, he's honestly one of the most interesting characters that Dragon Ball has had in a long time. I don't know if you feel the same way about that, but that's one of the things that really just kind of captured my interest and piqued my interest when it came to Beerus. But moving on from that, I mean, he had constant, basically very constant, in fact, you know, changes throughout the series. It didn't really come to a forefront until kind of like around the Future Trunks arc and then into the Tournament of Power arc, where in the Tournament of Power arc, lo and behold, we start to see what looks kind of like Beerus giving his respect to his competitors for his universe, you know? He was like, oh, kid, what was your name again? You know, trying to get everybody's names down, and he was like literally trying to, you know, show some love, you know, you know what I'm talking about when it came to Beerus. And
I was gonna say this arc kind of did try to tie up, like, even though I'm not gonna disagree with people who say this arc was rushed. When you actually look at some of the episodes and look at like how things happen, this arc really did kind of show Beerus' progression towards the way he acts towards everybody, not just Goku and Vegeta. Because like you said, Future Trunks arc, he kind of already respected, I think, Goku and Vegeta by that point, but by this arc, like, he was showing respect to everybody. And if you think about it, most of the people that he beat up in BOG, you know what I mean? So he was constantly becoming a warmer person, like you said, a softie, and he basically becomes Universe 7's cheerleader, you know, Universe 7's team cheerleader, basically on the sides there, rooting for everybody. And that's one of the things I think is kind of cool about this arc, is that I think it concluded a lot of character arcs. Like, it concluded the arc for Gohan. He finally got stronger. It concluded the stuff with Roshi, kind of him finally retiring, like, you know, for sure now, you know, just stuff like that. And then also Krillin getting back into it and all that stuff. With Beerus, Goku achieving Ultra Instinct and stuff, I think that really helped conclude his friendship with Goku, because at the beginning, I don't think he ever thought Goku would be someone who could obtain this type of power. Like, he knew he could progress, but there's even some statements, like in ROF, I think, in the arc, not the movie, but in the arc, there's statements where, like, Beerus is saying he doesn't even know if Goku will ever challenge him. He asks his Whis, like, why'd you bring him here? Do you think they can really pose a threat to me? Yet in the Tournament of Power, you see him kind of putting over Goku, you know, he's actually saying, oh, this guy's unbelievable and stuff. And I think he truly sees Goku as not only a rival, but probably somebody, which people can debate about in the comment section, is superior to him now. You know what I mean? And I think that does conclude his character arc, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And just being a character that's able to even concede that, right? Just being a character that's able to say, you know what? You have this respect from me. I acknowledge what you've been able to do thus far. It really speaks volumes to what he was able to do, and the way that we were able to kind of explore more of his character throughout the entirety of the series. And I wanted to kind of backtrack, because I totally forgot at the time, but just remembered a really, really big turning point for this character too. And the thing is with Beerus, it's really kind of hard to decipher what is a change versus what isn't a change, just simply because we had never got to see the character in a lot of different ways. Like, when it came to the Vegeta video, it was really easy because you have a whole entire media before Super to base the character off of. But when it comes to Beerus, I mean, he could have just been, you know, a hard nut to crack, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He could have just been a real softy, real nice guy, a real respectful guy, and all these other things below or behind that guise of trying to act tough, basically. I don't really think that was the case, but it's kind of hard to base it. But I wanted to go back to a really big moment for the character, and if you haven't figured it out by now, anybody listening, that's back in the Universe 6 tournament, where he's like, basically, we're introduced to his brother, and he's kind of, you know, got that whole sibling rivalry. They bicker, they fight, and all those things. But of course, you know, being siblings, they love each other nonetheless behind all of that. But, you know, he is like, you know what, brother, I'm going to give you back your Earth.
Yeah.
One of the most selfless things that we see him do in the entirety of the series. And it's funny when you think about it in a more meta way, because really the ending of the series basically comes down to another selfless wish on those exact same Dragon Balls. And I can't help but think that Beerus kind of laid the idea for that whenever it came to Beerus making that wish for, you know, his brother getting that Earth back.
I see what you mean there, and it's funny enough because that whole arc leading up to him giving back the, you know, the Earth, which is kind of funny because it's like Champa still came to Earth in episode 70 for the food. I don't know why that Earth doesn't have its own food, but I know Marcus talked about that, like, plot hole. No, I'm just kidding. No, but funny enough that you bring that up, because if you think about it, in the Tournament of Power, something that Champa recites at the end when they give Wish back after 17 wishes them back is that he looks to the sky and he mentions, I think, Beerus saying, you know, I can't believe you did it, or I can't believe you did this, or something like that. Because I guess
like, I'm still not going to thank you, I think, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because that goes to show the relationship between them, because it's, like I said, I don't really like to go too deep into Dragon Ball because Dragon Ball was originally written by a gag author, but there are some deep meanings to it. And if you really want to break down the psychology of these characters, you have Beerus, who tries to act tough, and then, or at least he comes off as acting tough, but at deep down, he does care about his brother at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because even he seemed very saddened when Champa was erased.
Yeah.
Yet Champa doesn't acknowledge the good stuff that Beerus does, but at the same time, he still thinks about it, if that makes sense. Like, he's still, like, he doesn't want to say it, but he's still low-key, like, acknowledging it. You know what I mean? Like, him looking up to the sky when the dragon's going at it. So it's kind of like, there's some deep stuff there, and that's one of the cool things about Super, is that it didn't get to expand on it, but hopefully they do, whether in the manga, because I would love to see the upbringing of Champa and Beerus and see the relationship between them. But that's a good point that I thought you brought up, was about the whole Champa and Beerus thing, because Beerus's relationship with Champa has always been like rocky, at least throughout the series.
Yeah, and you reminded me too of the whole, Beerus basically looking like he's about to cry. And, of course, again, that's his brother, so it's not hard to understand. But at the same time, all they really did was bicker and fight.
Yeah.
So, and Beerus knows it's time to get the work done, and he's like, just say something, but he couldn't even bring himself to do it. And you would think that him being the character of the stature that he is, maybe he's hardened to a point where that shouldn't faze him, but apparently it doesn't. So, yeah, there's a lot of psychology that you can kind of look into when it comes to the characters. And honestly, we can kind of do this for a lot of different characters and a lot of different ways that they, act and do things in the series and all that. But I really thought that Beerus, as a whole, just to kind of wrap this up, was one of the more developed characters. Like, I personally think Vegeta had the most. I think Beerus is next on the list. As far as like where they started. And I think that Beerus also, like I said earlier in the video, kind of was set up that way because he was a new character, basically original to the series anyway, because he came out in, the movie arcs, so they got retold in the series and stuff like that. So he was basically original to the series, a la a character like Hit, unfortunately. But the main difference is that Beerus is in the spotlight most of the time. Would you agree, or?
No, yeah, I agree with that. It's hard to say, because I would include Gohan, because this arc did help conclude the character arc for Gohan. But the thing is, though, he's not, I guess, prominently shown as much in Super as like Beerus or Vegeta. Well, he's really only got the role in this arc,
Yeah, the issue with Gohan is he is gone for most of the series. Literally, most of the series, he is not even present. I mean, he's there for the first couple of arcs, and those are movie retellings, so that's a given. He's gone the entirety of the Universe 6 tournament arc because of the conference. He is literally gone except for like 1 or 2 episodes in the Trunks arc. And then he comes back in this arc. So he's gone the whole series. And the thing about Gohan, I was actually talking about this on my video stream earlier, is that the thing about Gohan is no matter what they did with him in Super, he was going to default back to being the character that's the scholastic Gohan, because that's just how he is at the end of the series. So he kind of had a bubble that he would reside in.
Exactly. Like, they brought him out, and then they tried to help explain something, you know what I mean? And then he has to go back into that bubble, because by the end of Z, he doesn't really want to. I can remember they say he doesn't want to fight, but I mean, he's not entering the tournament, obviously.
He's settled down, man.
Yeah, so
that's
that Poo-Tang, bro. That Videl Poo-Tang, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about Gohan next time. I don't know. He's my favorite character, so it's
I
cool.
I thought you were gonna say let's talk about Videl's Poo-Tang. I was gonna say that may go on the Pornhub channel, bro.
Chill. I ain't trying to get the videos demonetized, man. Man, but guys, as you could tell, MJ's a really cool guy. I would love for you guys to go ahead and check him out. His channel, down below in the description of this video. Make sure you guys do hit him up with that sub over there. He makes awesome content, awesome discussions, and a lot of other really, really good content on several animes over there. So again, make sure you check out the man. And any other closing words you want, man?
No, thank you for having me, man.
No problem. Stop saying man, because we said it too many times the last 2 seconds.
All
right, guys. Have an awesome day and take it easy.